Hello, learners. In continuation to our introductory to NGO management, today's topic, which is very crucial, important, and one of the most important things which anyone should know is the barriers to communication. Now, if we relate where we have been discussing in the previous two sessions about Ruchika Social Service Organization, Ruchika having a steering group, the executive body, managing committee and general body which forms the organogram of Ruchika Social Service Organization, and the projects with which it is dealing with, taking the community into picture. It is facing barriers to communication with the community which are listed. Those are, the first thing would be the language barrier, then focus to livelihood, only not child rights and education, no trust on mother state people, fear to loss of income if children are taken away, first generation learners, literacy, ignorance, physical distance, politically influenced, lack of interest, and feeling of inferiority complex and cultural difference. I repeat, the barriers which Ruchika is facing in terms of community is cultural difference, feeling of inferiority complex, lack of interest, politically influenced, physical distance, ignorance, literacy, first generation learners, fear to loss or income if children are taken away, no trust on mother state people, focus to livelihood only and not on child rights or education, and the language. Now, Ruchika is also facing communication barriers when it comes to donors. As and when on a face-to-face discussion with the CEO, Dr. Senapati, the listed communication barriers came into mind, which are the language. Dr. Senapati said many program staffs do not speak English. So when they go and represent, or they have to collect donations, or they have to represent themselves, suppose in a state like Chennai, it becomes a cumbersome affair. Limited staff with professional qualification. Staffs are working with a positive mindset and an intention to build and take the NGO to the next level, but on a yearly basis, or they are not working on themselves, they are not upgrading their professional skills, qualifications, they are not sharpening their acts and all. Then limited presentation skills. In an NGO of 100 to 200 strength, the presentation skills is confined to one or two employees or one or two managers. Limited explanation skills. Dr. Senapati, on his discussion with us, he said that the employees are having the limited skills of explanation. They are not understanding the things, but they are jumping to conclusions and they are on their toes to achieve the same amount. Employees are having very limited computer skills. They are not upgraded and they are not, again, it boils down to not working on oneself. Ignorance. People are approaching and dealing with utmost ignorance. Employees are having limited exposure, limited research skill. They have anxiety, and in the meanwhile having anxiety, they lose upon the basics of the discussion or the presentation and fear. Now, moving on, there are physical barriers which are defects in the medium. Defects in the medium could be telephone, postal system, courier service, electronic media. Defects in medium. Suppose I, being the NGO representative, I am representing Ruchika and I have a very important call. As per my previous discussion, I have to make to a corporate client to seek for some support and all. So I go to a place where there is no connectivity. In the long run, the association, the trust factor goes off. So you have to be very, very careful in using. You have to be very, very careful in using the telephone at the right place and right time and in the right environment and all. Suppose suppose the NGO has spoken to a Delhi-based corporate client who's ready to support, and we as an NGO, we are sending our documents, we are sending a proof of our existence, our official papers through the postal system, and due to a strike or due to some instance, the system gets delayed, the courier, the delivery gets delayed, then there is a defect in the medium in what we are sending. And again, it boils down to the courier service, which may create the same amount. Electronic media. Suppose there is a meet, and the NGOs are unable to express themselves, or the media highlights which they shouldn't be highlighting, then again it becomes a barrier to physical communication. Now, if I were to talk about the next barrier, it would be noise in the environment. Suppose I'm discussing in a place outside the office, in a closed room, but the room has a window facing the road where there is traffic, or there is group discussion, or it is a noisy environment, then it affects the flow of effective communication. Information overload. Suppose in an instance, in the first meeting, if I go and meet and give too much information, it would be too much for the receiver to absorb the information. So I should be always specific, and I have to be to the point to get my deal done. Semantics and language barriers. Semantic means pertaining to or arising from different meanings of words or other symbols. So one has to be very, very careful in the usage of meanings and sentences and words in the most appropriate place and time. And that is possible only and only when you read a lot of books, which will enhance your knowledge about. Socio-psychological barriers. Socio-psychological barriers could be the problems of understanding, interpretation, and response to communication, arising partly from our socially learned attributes and partly from our personal attributes, and hence are called socio-psychological barriers. I repeat, problems of understanding, interpretation, and response to communication arise partly from our socially learned attributes and partly from our personal attributes, and hence are called socio-psychological barriers. Most of the socio-psychological barriers discussed below operate at the emotional level. Socio-psychological barriers is again broadly classified into self-centered attributes, group identification, self-image, selective perception, defensiveness, filtering, status block, resistance to change, closed mind, poor communication skills, and state of health. Coming on to the self-centered attitudes and all. Suppose I am quite self-centric in my understanding and my idea, and being the CEO of the firm, I feel that my idea should be respected, and I am not open to anyone's idea. Of a new entrant or a new team member may have a better idea than me. So that is a socio-psychological barrier, that I, being a CEO, my idea should be given prominence and importance, whereas I cannot accept an idea from a team member. Group identification. Suppose an NGO establishes a very good rapport with a particular group, and it supports them in terms of students, in terms of sales representatives who go for an on-the-job training. That is wrong. Group identification must not be the criteria in mind to grow the NGO, but it should be with one and all. Self-image. If the NGO has a importance and good record of student placement. It has developed a good self-image about itself, but that does not mean that it will not work upon or outcast or excel in its own records and all. So one has to be very very broad, and one has to be very very open to new ideas and new ways of approach and all. Selective perception. If I being the center manager or the center head of an NGO, if I have a selective perception and I'm not ready, I have blocked myself in understanding what the receiver wants, then that is a barrier to communication. Defensiveness is, I being the center manager or CEO, I have a particular idea which I have formed, and I'm defending itself by not accepting anything good or nothing favorable from the receiver. Then that is a defensiveness barrier, which is a barrier to communication. Filtering. Filtering plays a barrier in communication in terms of where the information has to be full and I filter and download it to the top management. That shouldn't be done. The raw information has to be provided to the management, post which in front of the client or the donor or community, the filtered information will come out. Status block. Blocks arise out of status of the individual who heads the NGO and all. The status block should not be there for NGO's growth and development. Resistance to change. I should make my team in such a way that any sort of change which is undergoing in the evolution, suppose this is the pandemic situation and the jobs, the recruitments are going down and I have taken a strength of 200 people to be placed. So I have to resist the change. I cannot wash off my hands and go. This is one of the barriers to communication. Closed mind, which is the most important and a very important valid point of the barriers to communication, where I approach a thing with a closed mind. Again, barrier to communication would be poor communication skills. If I am unable to express myself, if I am unable to diagnose, if I'm unable to represent myself, or I don't have the requisite communication skills with a touch of mother tongue influence, or I'm unable to show off or showcase the entire thing, it is a barrier to communication and state of health. Suppose I'm not in a good state of mind or my health is not okay, I should not communicate. Rather, I should fix up an appointment on another day or speak later. So, moving on to the organizational barriers. Organizational barriers could have the movement of papers and of information which gets held up by the system itself. Second organizational barrier would be loss of distortion of information as it moves downward, may be caused by misinterpretation, lack of understanding and neglect of messages by some of the employees of the organization. One of the organizational barriers and the third organizational barrier would be too much dependence on written communication is one of the reasons for this. The circulars, bulletins, notices and even letters are not always read carefully, and which is quite true. Suppose a notice comes, a circular comes, we just have a glance of it, but we don't go within and try to understand what it communicates. The fourth important organizational barrier is loss of information occurs as messages move from subordinates to higher levels of authority, also deliberately holding back of information. Cross-cultural barriers. Moving on to the barriers of communication, which could be the cross-cultural barriers. The barriers could be national character, basic personality, values and norms of behavior, social relationships, concepts of time, concepts of space, thinking processes, perception, and non-verbal. Now, where there are problems, solutions go hand in hand. In this session of barriers to communication, we would now look upon what are the methods or what we can do to come out of this barriers to communication. The first and most important tool to come out of the barrier of communication is training. Training is very effective in building communication and all. A candidate who wants to join an NGO may be a very good worker with a positive mindset, and he has come, or we can feel through his body language, but is unable to communicate, is a deal half done. So the HR department here plays a very important role in arranging 3 months crash courses or giving him an assignment and keeping a track of the same on a 15 to 20 days to review his training skills or review his communication skills and all. He should be given assignments and he should be tracked on a fortnight or a monthly basis and all. Now, another most important tool which can be used in the NGO where barrier to communication is there is periodical review and reorganization of communication networks. Is also needed to ensure that information reaches people in time. There has to be a periodical review and reorganization of communication networks. In the past, there couldn't have been a review due to which the communication was not proper, or communication networks which fail to reach the target audience. So it is very important for the audit department of the NGO firm to look into the periodical review and reorganization of communication networks, so that it is needed to ensure that the information reaches people on time. Many companies have health centers. Then the idea of health center is they provide medical aid, gymnasiums, recreation for the staff in an effort to keep down stress level. In some companies, employees are under regulations of compulsory vacations. The concept of regular vacations at health centers came up because the stress level in the employees was going on to an extreme into a level, due to which they were unable to give the requisite output, communicate, or were unable to receive instructions and do and get the necessary output. So it was very important that they should, the companies were, forcing, the HR department was forcing that employees should take compulsory vacations and all. Now, a very important position is when we are a leader, we have to lead the organization, and leading the organization is our people who play a very important tool in day-to-day, very important role in day-to-day activities of the NGO, and they take the NGO to the next level. So I suppose I'm the CEO of a particular NGO, Ruchika, Dr. Venugha Senapati. So higher the position, the greater is one need for effective communication. It is the duty of the top management that they should bring up strategies and tools so that there are regular presentations, there is a follow-up, and there is a culture of speaking Hindi or English in the organization, which would develop the NGO in the long run. So being a leader, being the higher in the organization, it would be of utter importance that I bring about the change what I want to see. Coming on to the fifth tool where I can handle barriers to communication is the channel must be kept in good working condition. Suppose the intercoms. The intercoms is unattended from past 1 month, and there is a person who is sitting in the finance department at the 5th floor and wants to reach the person who is there at the 1st floor or not, and he is held up with neck deep work. So the tools of communication, the channel must be very proper and kept in good condition, that is your intercom. Now coming on to the next is your notice boards. Your notice boards should be very colorful they should speak out meaning, they should be very, very informative, and they should be eye-catching. So it is duty of the communication department or the respective manager or team manager to make it very, very attractive with short and sweet messages and all. Regular interval meetings must happen on a recurring basis every fortnight and every week. That should be made as the culture of the NGO management or NGO company, that information meetings must be kept day to day so that employees are abreast with what is happening and what is the organization expecting out of them. Going on to the last tool where we can handle barriers to communication are the semantic and language barriers, and that can be overcome only by being careful with the use of language, clear meaning words, by using short and simple sentences. Coming on to the last and final tool where we can handle barrier to communication, and one of the most left out is the personal barriers. Personal barriers can be overcome only by making a conscious effort and training for better communication. Before communicating, one must try to feel oneself in others' role, values, and frame of reference. Working in other cultures means understanding the host's conception of greetings, timings, hygiene, negotiation, agreement, politeness, personal space, gesture, meal etiquette, and closure. Suppose I get a chance, my NGO representative gets a chance to be heard in a written-based firm or a company, because opportunity may knock any moment or any time. So for that reason, I have to be abreast in my communication skills. I have to understand the timing of the other country. I have to understand what gestures I have to use, what I have to say, and what not. So personal barrier can be overcome only and only by making a conscious effort and training for better communication. Overcoming the barriers of effective communication in a nutshell, what Ruchika deals with effective communication in Ruchika community meetings is cultural sensitivity, checking for understanding, seeking participation, effective questions, summarizing what has been said, connecting with the audience. Now it is very, very important that you connect with your audience. You cannot have a block mind in approaching your audience. You have to always use simple and penetrating words, and your body language, which should be always with the smile, eye contact, gesture, and tone. So coming on to, we have almost completed, and coming on to the final session. In today's session, we dealt about the physical barriers, the semantic and language barriers, the socio-psychological barriers, organizational barriers, cross-cultural barriers, and what are the tools and methods by which we can come up in our barriers to communication, where training played a very important tool in building up communication. Another personal barrier where we spoke about is we have to be always open-minded, and we cannot approach with a closed mindset or not accepting anything. So, dear listeners, that's all in today's session where we dealt about barriers to communication. We'll be coming up with more upgraded topics for the NGO management. Thank you very much. Thank you.